Black Ops 7 Season 2 is dropping a huge amount of content, whether it's classic maps and modes returning, some interesting new surprises, or
akimbo LMGs.
The Season 2 roadmap is pretty much just as big, if not bigger than Season 1. So in this video, I'm going to cover all of the new content coming to Black Ops 7 Season 2, and also share my thoughts on all of this at the end of the video. And of course, I'll be covering all of this new content as it gets added to the game, so definitely get subscribed so you don't miss out, and also drop a like for a free T-Rex burger from Wendy's.
Just don't eat the whole thing in one bite.
Okay, so to kick things off, Black Ops 7 Season 2 is going to be launching on February 5th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern, time o'clock anywhere else in the world. And much like Season 1, the Black Ops 7 Season 2 roadmap is looking absolutely massive. So we're actually going to start off this video with all the general content that's going to be coming to every single mode in the game. Starting off here with the Rev 46 SMG that's coming at the launch of Black Ops 7 Season 2. This is going to be available in the Battle Pass. And as you'll notice in this image, it looks like we have slums in the background, which we'll get to later in the video. But I think they specifically chose to have him holding the gun on this map because it looks a lot like the Skorpion EVO from Black Ops 2. And if we look at the description of the SMG, it really sounds like it could be the return of the Skorpion EVO. It's described as a full auto SMG with an extremely fast fire rate, switch between a folded and unfolded stock position to change handling and recoil characteristics. It's gonna have the fastest fire rate in Black Ops 7 at 1,111 RPM. Now in fairness, it's not quite as fast as the Skorpion EVO from Black Ops 2. That thing had a rate of fire of 1,250 and it could go up to 1,893 with rapid fire. But if the Rev 46 is like the other SMGs in Black Ops 7, you should be able to put on rapid fire and get an even faster fire rate. But aside from that, it is gonna have a prestige attachment, and it's gonna be the MFS Reforge flip stock, and it says it provides a massive improvement to movement speed when aiming for unparalleled strafing potential, but it does impact your sprint to fire and recoil, but it no longer slows your ADS or your mobility. So that's gonna be a pretty interesting one. And here's the weapon prestige camos for the Rev 46. We have heat map for prestige 1, we have this leaf camo, kind of like a seafoam green at prestige 2, and then you get rosette, which is an animated camo you get for hitting max weapon prestige. But next up we have a brand new assault rifle called the EGRT-17 coming at the launch of Black Ops 7 Season 2. This one's also going to be available in the Battle Pass, and this one is looking kind of crazy. I don't think we've had anything like this in Call of Duty, because the description says it's a full auto assault rifle, but it fires superheated rounds that ricochet off solid surfaces. Second only to the Peacekeeper in fire rate, the EGRT assault rifle rapidly outputs rounds dealing impressive damage to the body and head, with the added feature of ricocheting rounds to catch enemy targets in the rebound. Despite its high fire rates, the EGRT offers highly accurate recoil control, offset by a slower reload time. For operators looking to down enemies with quick accurate fire, this is the one to take to the range. And it also has a weapon prestige attachment here called the MFS Heated Echo Rounds. It's a fire mod, and the description says heated energy ammo that bounces more effectively against surfaces, most effective when firing on the ground in front of the target, which is kind of concerning because it seems like you could basically just shoot at someone's feet with this assault rifle and kill them. But obviously we'll have to wait until the launch of Season 2 to see how this thing's gonna play out. And here's its weapon prestige camos as well. We have retro, you also get brick, and then lastly we have void stripe, which is an animated camo you get for maxing out the weapon, which honestly looks pretty sick. It kind of makes me think of like red or blue tiger, but it's animated and it's gonna have what pretty much looks like a galaxy kind of camo flowing throughout the gun. This one could be pretty cool. But next up we have a brand new melee weapon coming at the launch of Season 2. It is called the Hellsaw. It's described as having high damage and moderate to long range, but a slow to moderate attack speed. They're saying hack up the competition with a rotating saw that makes short work of enemies. The Hellsaw shares a similar damage profile as the knife in the flatline MK2, but with a longer reach and a slightly slower attack speed, and the results are messier. So yeah, I would expect some pretty intense gibbing from this thing, and I am really curious to see how this is going to play out in zombies as well as Endgame. And when it comes to multiplayer and Warzone, I am really curious to see if this will have a better lunge range than the other melee weapons we have access to, but based off the description, it says it's going to have a similar damage profile to the knife in the flatline MK2, so I wouldn't necessarily expect this thing to be that much better against armor in Warzone. But it does have some pretty interesting weapon prestige camos. You get Swamp at prestige 1, you get High Voltage at prestige 2, which is an animated camo, and then it actually has a non-animated camo for maxing it out called Tasty. Also, I just noticed that this High Voltage animated camo was actually first seen in Black Ops 4, so this is actually a returning camo from BO4. But next up we have another brand new launch weapon coming to Season 2. This is a special weapon called the GDL Havoc. However, unlike the previous weapons, this one is not unlocked in the Battle Pass. This is going to be a weekly challenge reward. And for a grenade launcher, it's going to have 7 mags in reserve, and it's going to have a mag size of 4. And they're not saying too much about the attachments, but it can get a magazine and rear grip attachment. And it's described as a pump action grenade launcher, and the grenades will stick to solid surfaces and can be remote detonated, and there's no ADS. They're saying enjoy the look on the enemy's faces as you fire flashing sticky grenades that latch onto the first solid surface they encounter, shoot volleys of them at enemy targets, use them as traps on the ground and walls, and pull the trigger to set them off. This seems like it's going to be very annoying, and it's also going to have a weapon prestige attachment called the MFS MFS airstrike mag. And the description says it improves offensive abilities through a modified projectile that travels faster, it can bounce off surfaces, and can be detonated sooner. An increased inner damage radius improves the chance to deal max damage to nearby targets. So it really sounds like this prestige attachment could make this thing even better. Honestly, when I first saw this weapon, I was thinking, oh, they just brought back the China Lake, but no, this is gonna be something completely different. And we will have to wait until season 2 to see if this thing's completely busted or if it's just gonna be something that you try out for a little bit and then it just turns out to be kind of trash. But yeah, here's the weapon prestige camos for the grenade launcher. We have textile at prestige 1, we have navy at prestige 2, and then you can get this animated flamingo camo for maxing out the grenade launcher. Next up, I gotta say, man, I am shocked to see this thing coming back, but we have the SG-12 from Black Ops 4 returning later in the season for Black Ops 7 Season 2. Viva la Brecci! Oh my god. This is going to be a returning shotgun that's going to be part of the Escalation Directive event as a mastery reward. It has 4 mags in reserve, a mag size of 8, which is definitely not as bad as the Brecci, but I can assure you guys it's going to get worse. It's described as a semi-auto shotgun that's well-rounded for mid-range performance. Nothing too crazy to see here. Oh wait. What is that? Weapon prestige attachment, the MFS Pulse Fire Tac Light. Dedicated flashlight that improves firepower through the addition of binary trigger firing functionality and tactical stance at the expense of damage range. Flashlight is visible in ADS. So yeah, they're bringing back the Brecci with the flashlight from Black Ops 4, like... I guess Treyarch just can't help themselves, bro. Like, look at what we had in Season 1. We had the Akimbo Akitas with fire rounds just decimating every small map in the game. And now they give us this? This? Yeah, when this gets added to the game, I'm gonna be crashing out hard. But yeah, guys, here's the weapon prestige camos for the SG-12. As you can see, Chrysalis camo is coming back from Black Ops 4, as well as Rocket Box from Black Ops 4, and even Shimmer camo from Black Ops 4. So every single weapon prestige camo for the SG-12 is a Black Ops 4 throwback, which is pretty cool. However, I'm sure this is just gonna further incentivize people to just spam this thing in multiplayer, so I am kind of worried about that. I think we have some dark days ahead of us whenever Season 2 Reloaded drops. But speaking of Season 2 Reloaded, we have another weapon that's gonna get added later into the game. This is the Voyak KT-3. This is gonna be a new assault rifle that's part of an event, and it's described as a full auto assault rifle with high damage and excellent handling with a slower fire rate and moderate to high recoil. And they're saying expect a full reveal at Season 2 Reloaded, so they're not sharing too much about this weapon quite yet, especially when it comes to the weapon prestige attachment, which is the MFS anti-dispersion module. It just says the combat benefits of this attachment have been deemed classified, so they really don't want to share too much about this gun quite yet. However, they are sharing the weapon prestige camos, and as you can see, you get Splatter, which is coming back from Black Ops 4. For prestige 2, you can unlock Chevron's camo, and then lastly, we have an animated potion camo when you max this thing out.
But JD's and Lenzelman,
they really did save the best for last, because we have one more weapon here, and that is the return of the Swordfish A1 from Black Ops 4. It's going to be in the marksman rifle category, and it's going to be an event reward. As I'm sure you guys remember, it's a 4-round burst rifle. It has a fast cyclic fire rate and minimal recoil, but slower mobility and handling. And they're actually saying that it's going to beat out the M8A1 for overall damage output at the cost of a longer burst delay and slower mobility. So that's pretty interesting. And it's also getting a prestige attachment called the MFS Pentaburst mod, and it says the combat benefits of this attachment have been deemed classified. But I think it's safe to assume that it's going to turn it into a 5-round burst and it's going to do even more damage. So definitely be on the lookout for the return of the Swordfish. It's kind of insane to see how many different weapons are being added with Season 2, and there's definitely a lot of Black Ops 4 throwback going on. But yeah, here's the weapon prestige camos for the Swordfish as well. We have Juiced, which is coming back from Black Ops 4. We have Arabesque camo, which is also coming back from Black Ops 4 at prestige 2, and then you can get the animated Arsenal camo for maxing out the Swordfish. Now that's all of the brand new weapons coming with Season 2, but as we know, we have weekly aftermarket parts in Black Ops 7, and honestly, we're kind of just getting started. Because here's the new weapon attachments coming with Black Ops 7 Season 2.
I think Giant Harper's going to enjoy this one.
We're going to start off the weekly challenge rewards with the XM325 Titan Wield, which is coming later in the season. This is going to be a stock attachment that allows you to dual wield the XM325. That's gonna be absolutely insane. The last time we saw something like this, I believe, was Advanced Warfare, where you could have akimbo XMGs and you could also plant them on the grounds. Now, I don't think you can do that with this, but it is gonna have belt-fed ammo with the overheating mechanics, so you do have to look out for that. And it's also gonna slow down your movement and handling, but I think this is gonna be a really fun attachment to unlock and use in the game. But next up, we have kind of a strange one coming to the game. It's called the Fang Hover Point ELO. It's coming later in the season, and it's gonna be a weekly challenge reward, and they're saying it's discreet with a thin frame. This reflex sight features a floating illuminated reticle and improves stability at the expense of handling. So you will get a stability bonus here, but I'm not exactly sure why they're doing this. Like, typically unlocking new reticles is just not nearly as interesting as some of the other attachments, and we gave this feedback back in Modern Warfare 3. I guess it just didn't carry over to Treyarch and with Black Ops 7, but I guess we'll have to wait and see if this is actually going to be that useful of an elo sight. I mean, maybe it looks cleaner than the default elo in the game. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how this is going to play out. But this one definitely seems really interesting. We have the ARC M1 Assault Frame, which is coming later in the season as well. This attachment looks absolutely insane, and it says that it's a top-mounted control system that shortens both the charge time and cooldown to support aggressive use against enemy personnel. It also increases the explosion radius and provides improvements to both mobility and handling. So yeah, hopefully this attachment actually makes the ARC M1 usable. But next up we have the Razor 9mm Wildfire conversion, which is also coming later in the season. It says the conversion kit offers a massive improvements to both fire rate and bullet velocity and a larger magazine, but it adds spread to ADS and impacts movement speed while firing. Now that's going to be a very interesting one because it sounds like it's going to make the Razor really powerful, but it's also going to give you bloom when aiming down sights, which is going to make this thing at least potentially very inaccurate, and it's also going to slow you down quite a bit when you're shooting. But you know, the more that I think about it, this kind of sounds like that one SMG in Black Ops 4 that shoots really fast. Like, maybe that's what they're kind of going for here. But when it comes to the Echo 12 Backlash launcher kit, I'm not really sure what they're going for here, bro. It's going to be coming mid-season, and it says it's a conversion to support the firing of fast-moving explosive projectiles that can bounce off surfaces. Explosive damage is increased if detonation occurs after bouncing. So yeah, they're going to be converting the Echo 12 shotgun into a grenade launcher. Like, that just sounds horrifying, but I guess like the other grenade launcher that's coming in season 2, we'll have to see how strong or weak it's potentially going to be. But guys, this is the last weekly aftermarket part that we're seeing here, at least for what's listed. It is the MXR-17 Anvil conversion coming mid-season, and it says it converts the MXR into a harder hitting weapon with increased ammo, recoil and fire rate decreases over time the longer the weapon is fired. If I'm not mistaken, they have basically just brought back the Hammer LMG from Black Ops 2. That's not only what it sounds like, but that's also what the weapon looks like as well, which is really sick. But that's gonna do it for the weekly challenge rewards. Next up, let's look at the different events happening with season 2. The first event we have here is the Escalation Directive camo event. Interesting that they're calling it a camo event. It's gonna be available for every single mode in the game, and it's within the launch window of season 2. They're describing this as a camo focused event that's delivering 8 all new universal camos, including 4 animated completion camos, as well as the SG-12 shotgun coming back from Black Ops 4, which is gonna be the final mastery reward. Next up, there's gonna be a Mars leaderboard event for zombies only that will be available at launch. I'm not the biggest fan of these leaderboard events, but it seems like they might be structuring this one differently because players have to compete to get their highest round on the new map. And as you'll see later in the video when we cover zombies, Mars is going to be a new survival map. But yeah, next up we have another event. It's called Hunt or Be Hunted. This is going to be for multiplayer only, and it's coming later in the season. It's going to include universal camos as well as a weapon blueprint. This multiplayer exclusive, it's another leaderboard event. Why? And then look, after that we have another event, the Dead Ops Arcade leaderboard event. It's another leaderboard event, bro. It's like, okay, dude, we get it. Leaderboard events, you have to compete against other players. You're gonna get universal camos if you win. If you don't, too bad, sucker, you missed out. But lastly, we do have one final event. It is the Paradox Junction event. This is just for zombies mid-season, and the rewards are classified. And it also seems like the event's details are gonna be classified as well. But guys, we need to stop it with these leaderboard events. I'm just gonna have a quick little mini rant here. From a player standpoint, you have to understand that all of these different leaderboard events that they've been adding into the game are just designs. They're created to give you FOMO, the feeling of missing out. They want you to get addicted to playing the game, and they want you to spend as much time as possible playing the game during that period of time. The sole purpose of these leaderboard events is to just get you playing the game for longer, so it looks better for the overall stats of how Black Ops 7 is doing. And honestly, whenever these events come out, we need to basically just stop playing around this time. There's no reason to feed into these types of events, because if you don't like these events personally, you can't be actually trying to win them. And I know this is just my opinion on the matter, but I really do feel like events like this actually just burn players out even faster, and it fatigues them to a point where they don't even want to get back on the game once these events end. I just think that events like this are overall really bad for the health of the game, and it gets people to play the game for some kind of weird specific purpose instead of just getting on Call of Duty to have fun. Sorry for the quick little mini rant. I should be saving that for the end of the video, but yes, let's move on next to the weekly challenges, at least the seasonal camos that you get for doing all of your weeklies. The first camo we have here is the animated Sword of Swords camo. You get this for completing at least 4 of your weeklies. And then lastly, we have Canine Havoc here, which is another animated camo, and you'll get this for completing 8 of your weekly challenges. And just as a quick heads up, if you didn't complete or finish any of your weeklies in season 1, you could just go to the armory in Black Ops 7 and you can access it there. And you basically just have to complete armory challenges, which if I'm not mistaken, is just earning XP. And they created a checklist for this as well. Now, I'm not sure exactly how many people are going to be trying to do all these different challenges, you know, like the leaderboard events, winning matches in ranked play, doing zombies leaderboard stuff, and then also trying to get win streaks in Warzone. Like, this kind of feels like camo overload right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like, dude, at some point, it's just gonna get too overwhelming and there's gonna be too many camos to be trying to grind for. Like, can we just play the game for fun? Because look at how many different things you'd have to try to win and do. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, next up we have the Season 2 Battle Pass in the Black Cell. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this stuff, but as you can see, this is, I'm assuming, some of the skins that are gonna be coming. In this image, they're teasing the instant rewards you get for the Battle Pass. Now, what I think is kind of interesting is that this new operator Atwood, this is how she looks in the teaser images for Season 2, but then in game, I don't know if that's just me, but she's looking a lot more potato-y. But when it comes to the Season 2 Black Cell Pass, they're actually bringing something back from Black Ops 6, which actually makes this kind of more worth getting. Obviously, you get all the different Black Cell operators and stuff and the different variants of things, but what they're bringing back is that 10% XP loyalty boost. So if you bought the Vault Edition of Black Ops 7, or if you bought the Season 1 Black Cell, you're actually gonna get even more XP if you buy the Season 2 Black Cell. It even says that right here. Like, as we know, if you buy the Black Cell, you also get access to extra daily challenges, which can get you even more XP and also make it easier to complete your dailies across the different modes. But we also have the return of the Black Cell loyalty bonus, and it says here that players who purchase the Season 1 Black Cell and go on to purchase Season 2 Black Cell will activate a permanent 10% level and weapon XP boost in Black Ops 7, and that will increase up to a 50% bonus as the seasons progress for purchasing the Black Cell in every Black Ops 7 season. And I think it's important to point out here that it's not just 10% level, but also weapon XP bonus. So if you're trying to max out your weapons and get those max weapon prestige camos in Black Ops 7, this would obviously help speed up that process. But ultimately, it's up to you if you want to spend $30 on this every single season. And as we scroll down, then we also have some new operators as well. We have Phantom here, as you can see in these images. They're looking pretty spooky. They're also mentioning Victoria Atwood in the Battle Pass as well. This is one of her skins, and I'm not too sure about the other ones, but I guess these guys are too ugly to show their faces. They're also teasing some new store bundles as well. We have this Shadow Strike one, which is looking kind of interesting. Kind of have like some blue night vision goggles like from Modern Warfare. We also have Tracer Pack Tough Love for Karma here. Then we also have a Tracer Pack called Dark Warlock. It's gonna be like a Mastercraft Ultra skin. And they're also teasing some other bundles that are coming to the game. We have, I'm assuming, a skin for Reaper here because this is a robot. And we also have a new skin for Lynn as well as Grim. No animals, no Beavis and Butthead. It's actually not looking that weird. But next up, let's take a look at all of the brand new content coming to Black Ops 7's multiplayer. Starting off here with the multiplayer maps. We have a map called Torment coming at the launch, and it's gonna be a brand new 6v6 small size map. And based off of the images alone, this one's looking pretty trippy. This is kind of making me think of the map Fate, which came with Season 1. And as you can see, it even has like this little like red door transport teleport thingy. This map looks like something that was just straight up ripped out of the Black Ops 7 campaign, and we'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, maybe it could play out pretty well, but time will tell on that one. Next up, we have another launch map called Sake. It's a brand new 6v6 medium-sized map, and just based off of these images, it's really making me think of Den, especially as we look at the layout. It's gonna be another medium-sized 3-lane Treyarch map, so hopefully it plays out decently well. But yeah, we have another launch map called Nexus. This is gonna be a brand new 6v6 and also 2v2 small size map, so this is gonna be eligible for gunfight. Now, I have no idea how this map is gonna actually play out, but visually it does look very interesting, and this is also, I think, ripped from the campaign, at least to a degree, because we have the chair where Mason was tied up and being forced to look at all these different monitors and check stock prices, so.
That was what the Black Ops 7 campaign was about, right?
This map should definitely be looking familiar. We have the return of Slums coming back into the game. Classic 6v6 medium-sized map returning and getting remastered for Black Ops 7. The fan favorite Slums multiplayer map first seen in Black Ops 2 returns. Now, it's important to say they're not saying that it's the first time since Black Ops 2, but yeah. Slums is a very good multiplayer map. It's tried and true. The design is very good, and it just plays out very well, and I'm very happy to see this coming back into the game. But as far as it goes for mid-season maps, we have a brand new 6v6 small size map called Torque. I'm sorry I had to, but yeah, they're describing this as a 6v6 map, but it's also small size, and here in the image, it also says that it's going to be available in 2v2, so it should be available to play in gunfight. And what's really interesting is that this map visually looks a lot like Aftermath from Black Ops 2, but this is, again, kind of just ripped from the campaign. It was that flashback mission from the Battle of Los Angeles in Black Ops 2, so yeah. Well, let's see how this one plays out. It's going to be another small map, so it should be okay. But speaking of Black Ops 2, fans of Yemen should be pretty interested in Clifftown, which is coming mid-season. This is a remaster of Yemen from Black Ops 2. It's a 6v6 medium-sized map, and Yemen actually was pretty iconic in Black Ops 2. It could play out pretty slow in some 6v6 scenarios, but if Treyarch decides to be absolute legends and keep 10v10 mosh pit in the game, then Yemen should actually be playing out pretty well in Black Ops 7. And in fairness, Yemen was actually a really good search and destroy map in Black Ops 2, and if I'm not mistaken, this map will be playable in CDL and also ranked play for Black Ops 7. But next up, we're seeing the first brand new skirmish map for 20 versus 20 in Black Ops 7. This is going to be called Mission Peak, which is also coming later in the season. And if it's looking familiar, it's because this is essentially Clifftown, but an extended version of it. So yes, you can play 20 versus 20 on Yemen, as well as some other sections of the overall Avalon map, because if you played Endgame, you technically have already played played Avalon and you've already been able to explore this whole section. So they're basically just taking a section of the Avalon map and making it available in 20 versus 20. But yeah, hopefully it plays out decently well in Skirmish. And this is also an interesting map coming back. We have grinds coming back from Black Ops 6 in the mid-season, so they didn't necessarily have to do anything too new here. They're just allowing us to play grind again, so this is essentially carrying forward. But in fairness, grind actually did play out very well in Black Ops 6, and I'm sure it's going to in Black Ops 7. And I guess the same thing also goes for firing range, because it's also coming back to Black Ops 7 later in the season. It's a 6v6 small size map. I mean, what else is there to say? It's firing range. We played it a billion times. Let's play it a billion more times. But guys, I am genuinely so excited for this. One of the best Call of Duty game modes of all time is coming back in Black Ops 7. It is the return of Safeguard. That's right, guys. Safeguard is coming back. This is classic Safeguard coming back. They're not going to be doing anything too crazy or different to it, but this was just such a fun game mode to play in Black Ops 3 and even Black Ops 4. And even though we don't have specialist weapons and abilities like we did in BO3 and BO4, it still should just function as a really fun objective game mode.
As long as people are actually escorting Chappie.
But speaking of being happy, if you guys enjoyed Overdrive in Black Ops 6, it's actually going to be coming back into Black Ops 7 at the launch of Season 2. I'm not going to overly describe the game mode, but I actually had a lot of fun with this one in Black Ops 6, and it is coming back, so that's also a W. Aside from that, we have a new LTM coming later in the season called Luck Confirmed. They're saying, feeling lucky, collect lucky pouches dropped from friendlies or an enemy to earn a bonus 100 score for yourself and your team. The first team to collect enough lucky pouches will win the match and be the most prosperous in this new Lunar New Year themed twist on the classic Kill Confirmed mode. So yeah, it's essentially just a variation of Kill Confirmed. It sounds like it might be able to help you earn your score streaks faster though, so could be pretty fun. But next up, we have another LTM coming later in the season called Solo Hearts Mosh Pit. It's essentially a mosh pit playlist of team deathmatch, Kill Confirmed, domination, and hard points on all the 6v6 maps in the game. However, the max party size is 1, so yeah. And then we also have Third Wheel Gunfight returning as an LTM later in the season. This is part of like the Valentine's Day stuff, and it's essentially 3v3 gunfight. Nothing too crazy with those two modes, but I think that Safeguard is going to hard carry the modes for Season 2. Okay, but we're actually not done with the game modes quite yet. We have Gauntlet, which is coming mid-season, and this is apparently a new mode. Although, as I read the description, you know, you basically have to do 5 different game modes over the entire course of a match, and they're saying it's similar to the Pentathlon mode in Black Ops 6. So, if you played Pentathlon in Black Ops 6, that was part of like the Squid Games collab. It sounds like that's basically going to be the same thing, but there's also an additional classified mode, so we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. And lastly, for Season 2 modes, we have the return of Infected coming later in the season. We technically already had this as part of the Fallout collab, like it was just a variation of Infected, but it is going to be fully coming back later in Season 2. But next up, we have some additional loadout content, and there's a new score streak coming to the game. It is called the Lock Shot. It's coming mid-season. You're gonna have to get 450 score to earn this thing, and when I first saw this image, the first thing that came to mind was the Smart Pistol from Titanfall, and the description is basically saying that. I mean, it's described as a sleek smart pistol with 3 rounds that can lock onto multiple targets. A single trigger pull eliminates every locked target in quick succession, and you'll unlock this by doing weekly challenges. So yeah, Black Ops 7 basically just took a look at Titanfall's homework and they changed it slightly, and we essentially now have the smart pistol as a score streak in the game. But what sounds even more interesting is the overclock abilities for it. You can either equip multi-lock, which adds 1 round to the magazine, which can allow you to lock onto 4 people at once, or you can get quick lock, which reduces how long it takes to lock onto the enemies. So we'll have to see which one works out the best here. I do like the idea of running multi-lock and then just like getting a one-shot quad. Like that could be so sick. But yeah, interestingly enough, this is the only new loadout content coming to Season 2, at least for what's mentioned here. As I'm sure you guys know, ranked play is finally coming to Black Ops 7 at the launch of Season 2. Hopefully this means that public matches will not be nearly as sweaty.
Part of me still doubts that, but we'll have to wait and see.
But yeah, as I was reading this, I mean, it's ranked play. It should function exactly how it's been functioning as of lately. However, you do have to have TPM 2.0 and Secure Boot on your BIOS if you're playing on PC as part of Ricochet Anti-Cheat's new requirements. So hopefully Black Ops 7 ranked play won't have nearly as many cheaters as we've seen in the past. But yeah, here's the different ranked play rewards you can get simply just for winning different matches. And just as a quick heads up, I think it's important to mention that this is for your entire ranked play career, not just for Season 2. This accounts for the entirety of Black Ops 7 ranked play. And then of course we have different ranked play skins that you get depending on your placements at the end of the season. And here's the seasonal rewards for ranked play Season 2. You can get this blueprint for the Drevek at 10 wins. You can get a decal at 100 wins. And then obviously we have different rank camos and calling cards depending on your placement. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the multiplayer specific content. Next up, let's talk about what's coming to Endgame, because there's some pretty interesting stuff in here. At the launch of Season 2, they're gonna be adding guild strikes as well as nightmare zones. They're saying that guild strikes can trigger at any moment during a match as Alden Dorn detonates hidden cradle stockpiles across Avalon. When a strike hits, the affected location becomes a nightmare zone, a high intensity hotspot featuring extreme challenges more difficult and dangerous than a current Tier 4 area. In Nightmare Zone, standard activities shut down and enemy difficulty spikes. Find yourself in a Nightmare Zone, and aside from staying alive, you have one overriding objective: hunt down and defeat the strike boss. Expect heavier resistance, aggressive enemy waves, and experimental guild constructs pushing to keep you out. Nightmare Zones remain active for the rest of the match, offering a fast, high-risk, high-reward challenge for squads willing to push into the most dangerous of guild territory. Expect additional activities to complete, along with impressive rewards that make the danger of a Nightmare Zone well worth the risk. And there's going to be a new feature called Power Nodes at the launch of Season 2. As you level up your operator's combat rating, be sure to keep an eye out for these special cube-like devices hidden across Avalon. Secure one and gain bonus power to assist in your combat rating leveling. And there's going to be a brand new skill track called Eagle Eye, which will give you some different abilities. This will be available at launch, and it says sharpen focus for deadly precision, amplify critical hits, and make every shot count. So if you take this skill track on an operator, these are the different abilities you'll get. You can get increased crit damage, so your critical hits will deal even more damage. Big Hit increases critical damage dealt to full health enemies. Last Shots Plus, you'll deal more damage when your weapon is low on ammo. Rampage, getting rapid kills briefly increases weapon damage with that weapon. Aim Faster allows you to ADS faster. And then Armor Breaker, it says that it will stun and damage enemies when breaking enemy armor. Overall, this sounds like a really solid skill track for trying to do as much damage as possible, especially when trying to fight bosses. And this also could be pretty solid for Genesis camo grinding as well, since critical hits will do even more damage. And on top of that, there's new abilities coming to Endgame too. There's going to be a new major ability called Sentinel Protocol. It says call in a modified guild robots to fight your enemies and assist your team. It can revive you and your teammates when downed and inflict a small area of effect attack when swarmed. It says for those requiring additional robotic support personnel to aid in Avalon infiltrations, Sentinel Protocol provides an additional temporary ally. This GR5 guild robot has been reprogrammed and offers ranged combat, a close combat pulse attack, and can revive you and your teammates when downed. This can be useful when clearing out enemy strongholds or exfil sites at lower player levels, where one wrong firefight can jeopardize your exfil. So it sounds like a pretty useful ability, especially because the robot can actually revive you and your teammates, so this could potentially overtake Crash Cart. There's also going to be a brand new minor ability called Blood Burner. It says spawn a mysterious motorcycle good for traversal and combat. Running over enemies charges a special area of effect attack. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this motorcycle that Emma Kagan is riding on, I believe we basically had this in Modern Warfare Zombies, and it seems like it's essentially just returning as a minor ability, but it could be pretty useful for getting around the map. But lastly, for Endgame, they're saying that something called glitches is coming mid-season. Hopefully it's not going to break the game. They're saying mid-season guild activity spikes across Avalon. Strike bosses continue to appear during matches via guild strikes in Nightmare Zones, but the real challenge begins once you bring one down. Defeating a strike boss can trigger a glitch, a rare off-map event that pulls you and up to 3 squad mates into broken, corrupted C-Link data. Inside, your squad must survive multiple escalating waves and defeat the glitch boss to earn powerful nightmare skills. Glitches are rare, unpredictable, and always high stakes, the kind of moments squads won't want to miss. They may also appear outside of strike boss combat, providing certain classified conditions are met. Okay, so very interesting to try to get this to even happen in the first place. So they're saying mid-season there's going to be something called the Exotic Fabricator. The Exotic Fabricator will allow players to upgrade any loadout or field acquisition weapon to a full exotic weapon. The first upgrade will upgrade a weapon to exotic rarity and damage. The second upgrade will provide an additional classified bonus, and the third upgrade will provide a random exotic effect. That's going to be crazy. If you have fully upgraded a weapon to exotic or have a named exotic weapon, you may choose to re-roll either the bonus utility or the exotic effect. The Exotic Fabricator is a reward for defeating a strike boss and may also appear in other Nightmare Zones. The Exotic Fabricator can be used once, so choose wisely. And then lastly, they're mentioning the Nightmare skills, which is also coming mid-season. Powerful new skills can be equipped in a new unique slot in addition to your exotic skills. Each skill can be upgraded to unleash even more mayhem, but choose wisely as you can only have one equipped. So it's basically just going to be another powerful skill, similar to how we had exotic skills that were added in Season 1. However, this can also stack on top of that. So yeah, overall for Season 2 for Endgame, it sounds like there's going to be a power creep for players to get even stronger, but there's going to be even more difficult tasks and bosses to try to fight. Should be a lot of fun. But that is going to do it for all the new contents coming to Endgame with Season 2. Next up, let's talk about zombies for Black Ops 7, because unfortunately for Season 2, it seems like it's going to be taking a little bit of a backseat. At the launch of Season 2, there is going to be a new survival map called Mars. I gotta be honest, visually, this just, I mean, it looks like Mars, but it kind of looks terrible. It's kind of making me think of the tomb from Black Ops 6, but just like uglier. But I also understand that that is the aesthetic of Mars, and I mean, they nailed it, but I don't know, man. I also am very far behind on zombies. I really haven't started that camo grind. I haven't really played the maps too much or done the Easter eggs. I have a lot of catching up to do on zombies. But yeah, they're also gonna have Curse Survival available at launch for the Mars map, so you could do that as well if you want to. If you play Curse Survival on the different survival maps that already exist, you can get all kinds of extra rewards if you want to do that. Treyarch is also bringing back the starting room LTM from Black Ops 6, but I actually shouldn't be calling it an LTM because it's actually coming back into Black Ops 7 permanently. And I actually remember playing this a little bit in Black Ops 6. You're basically stuck in the starting room and you have to try to survive. It's very tense, and you do get special rewards for surviving to a certain rounds depending on the map, and this should actually be a lot of fun in Black Ops 7. As I mentioned in the multiplayer section, we have that lock shots score streak coming into the game, and it will be usable in zombies as well. We also have a new gobblegum coming to Black Ops 7 zombies mid-season. It's called Turncoat. It's going to be a new rare gobblegum. It's used instantly, and it says nearby zombies are charmed, and in Dead Ops 4 Arcade, they're temporarily turned to do your bidding. So that's pretty much it for gobblegums. And lastly, there's going to be some zombies leaderboard events. I already covered this in the general content section of the video, but yeah, that's pretty much it for Black Ops 7 zombies. And it seems okay in terms of content, but those who are looking forward to a brand new map as well as a brand new Easter egg hunt are probably going to have to wait until season 3. And you guys can let me know in the comments if you think this is a decent amount of content for zombies or if you're kind of disappointed. But speaking of disappointment, we're now moving on to the Warzone section of the video. There's going to be a map update for Rebirth Island. It's the winter refresh. I feel like they're kind of late on this one, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, for those who love Rebirth Islands, there's going to be a winter version of it, and it's just going to be a little visually different. They're saying there's some classified surprises to discover, so maybe there's some new Easter eggs. Okay, never mind. There is also a new point of interest. They're going to be having Turbine. Too bad it's not Turbine from Black Ops 2 coming back into multiplayer, because that would be way better than whatever this is. There's an unmarked point of interest called Outpost. So yeah, I guess they are actually tweaking Rebirth Island a little bit. Like, it's going to play out a little differently with these different points of interest. Okay, in fairness, it actually seems like they're making some decent map updates here. So, I mean, I probably will check this out a little bit and, you know, see how it plays out. At least based off of some of these images, it seems like they have changed some of these different areas, but obviously we have to play it to find out. There's a big emphasis on snow. You can see players' feet if they're walking around in the snow. There's renovations, adjusted lighting, vehicle routes. Rebirth Island will be getting attacked, so there's a possibility that the water tower, prison roof, or lighthouse can collapse if they get hit by missiles, so that's kind of cool. As well as different gas explosions. I mean, honestly, that kind of sounds annoying, but they're also saying that there's going to be classic hidden blueprints. So if you search around the island, you could find classified blueprints. So, you know, that's pretty cool. There's going to be a little bit of Easter egg hunting on the map, but there are going to be new perks getting added to Warzone as well. There's a slot 1 perk refresh. And when it comes to new modes coming to Warzone, they're going to be having ranked play resurgence. It's going to be trios on Haven's Hollow. So if you're looking forward to ranked play in Warzone, that's what you're going to be playing. And here's the different ranked play career rewards that you get over the entire course of playing ranked on Warzone. And here's the different resurgence ranked play skins depending on your placement at the end of the season. And my god, the number 1 overall looks so disgusting. It's basically the Terminator skin, which is just so putrid. And here's the seasonal rewards for Ranked Play Season 2. But yeah, there's also going to be some LTMs coming for Warzone called Loaded Resurgence, which will also be available in Casual. Every time you eliminate someone, you can get an extra perk up to the point until you can earn Specialist bonus, and you also maintain those perks even if you get eliminated. There's also going to be another weekend LTM mid-season called Extreme Resurgence. It's going to be Haven's Hollow quads with 100 players, and this really isn't anything too different. They're just doubling the amount of players, so it should be pretty chaotic. Aside from that, there's also going to be what they're calling the Iron Gauntlet Beta, which is in-season, mid-season. It's going to be duos on Verdansk with 150 players. So the way it's going to work is that there's scarce resources. It's a high-stakes drop in a survival-focused environment where every decision counts. They're saying it's basically going to be competitive duos. There's going to be a rapid circle collapse, so the circle is going to close even faster. They're saying there's going to be no free loadout drops and buy station prices are increased. You can't really rely on vehicles either because only bikes and ATVs will be available. And they've also increased the base health from 150 to 300. And on top of that, health regen is delayed and adjusted, and it's all designed to slow down the time to kill. There's also loot rebalancing. Epic and legendary weapons spawn less often, and kill streaks as well as cash drops are rarer. Weapons are from the Black Ops 7 loot pool. Common weapons usually start with extended mags and iron sights for ARs and SMGs, and there's no perks in the loot. They're also saying tough but fair, one-hit kill protection is enabled, and stim shots have been removed. But when it comes to mechanics in this mode, the gulag, contracts, and respawn mechanics are the same as the main Warzone BR mode. So this just sounds like a more intense, more brutal version of BR, and honestly, it actually sounds pretty interesting. And they're also noting that this is a beta mode that's being tested, and they're going to be listening to feedback, and they're going to tweak and adjust the mode based off of how people feel like it's playing out. A new Battle Royale experience mid-season, and as you can see from this 2 seconds teaser video, they are teasing Blackout coming coming back. But all they're saying about it is that mid-season introduces a brand new BR experience with the arrival of the Avalon map in Warzone. Built from the ground up, this is a new mode that draws inspiration from Call of Duty's Battle Royale origins with Black Ops 4's Blackouts. And they're going to be revealing more details about this with Season 2 Reloaded. So there's not going to be nearly as much for the Warzone players at the start of Season 2, but Season 2 Reloaded should be pretty lit for those who enjoy Warzone because Avalon is finally coming into the game as well as the Blackout mode. But yeah, guys, after almost 2 hours of recording, that is all of the content that's coming to Black Ops 7 Season 2. As far as it goes for my overall thoughts on all the different content, there's plenty of new weapons coming to the game, tons of weekly challenges, and fun aftermarket parts to unlock as usual. Some stuff does look questionable. I'm not sure how the Brecci's gonna play out. And honestly, I've been having a lot of fun using the Ballista from Season 1, but there is not gonna be a brand new sniper at all for Season 2, so snipers are really gonna be taking a backseat this season, it seems like, which in a way kind of is a bummer because it brought so much hype to the game. So I'm sure that's gonna be a little disappointing for the sniping community, but for people who just like overall want to experience a bunch of different weapons and try out different things, there's a lot of really unique stuff getting added with Season 2, and it should be a lot of fun. I already had my quick little mini rant about leaderboard events. There's not really too much else I could say other than I honestly think the leaderboard events suck and I wish they would stop doing them. It's honestly kind of a shame that when it comes to the events that we've seen in Black Ops 6 as well as Black Ops 7, it honestly kind of feels like they have not found a specific way to handle the events that are actually fun for players. Like, we don't want to just simply go around collecting different bottle caps like it's kill confirmed, or, you know, just like grinding out hundreds of thousands of XP during these event passes and stuff, and especially not these leaderboard events. Like, these are the worst events I think we've ever seen. And I've said this time and time again, in Modern Warfare 3, when we had events where you had to complete specific tasks, which is very similar to how weekly challenges work, those are really the better kinds of events that we've seen in the past. And I'm really surprised that they don't just elaborate on this further or try to kind of spin off of those types of events. And honestly, man, it really is just a shame because there's some really good content in terms of like the weapons, maps, modes, all that stuff. But then of course the events that come along with it, I just think that those events are not good. And at least for me personally, these leaderboard events have the exact opposite effect of what they're going for. I actually want to play the game less when this stuff is happening. And this is my honest constructive feedback. I think that having events where you have to complete specific tasks in different modes like we've seen in the past on Modern Warfare 3 and even Black Ops 6, I feel like those types of events are more challenging and also just better from a player standpoint. I'm also not opposed to the community types of challenges where the entire community has to do a certain task and work towards the end goal. But yeah, again, these leaderboard events, these are just a big fat L and I'm not looking forward to any of them. When it comes to the multiplayer specific content, I gotta be honest, the maps don't excite me nearly as much. There's gonna be some new ones to try out and hopefully they play out decently well. We have seen slums come back quite a bit. Not too sure about how Torque is gonna play out. I do think it's really cool that Yemen will be playable. Yemen hasn't come back since Black Ops 2, so that should be pretty interesting. I'm honestly not really playing a lot of skirmish 20 versus 20, but it's also essentially going to be a big version of Yemen, so hopefully this plays out decently well. But aside from that, grind is coming back. It's not anything crazy new. Same thing with firing range. I feel like this is essentially more filler content, but it is good filler content. And obviously the biggest highlight for multiplayer, for me at least, is the return of Safeguard. I love this mode, and I'm so glad that Treyarch is bringing this back. Overdrive was also really solid for Black Ops 6, so that should be pretty neat. Not too sure about the rest of the LTMs. They're honestly just kind of whatever. And I'm honestly kind of surprised that Infected has not been in the game since the addition of all the party game modes, but it is what it is. This new score streak is absolutely just from Titanfall, but hopefully it's fun to use. And I am really curious to see how the addition of ranked play is going to affect the multiplayer matches, because as we know, Black Ops 7 is very sweaty, and I feel like some of those sweats are now going to go play ranked play instead of playing public matches. So fingers crossed on that. And as far as it goes for the other modes in Black Ops 7, Endgame seems like it's getting some decent content. Zombies, unfortunately, kind of seems kind of lackluster, at least compared to, you know, previous seasons where you get brand new maps. And to my surprise, I thought that Warzone was going to be the weakest part of the season, but the changes to Rebirth Island actually seem pretty decent. There's some decent LTMs coming to the game as well, and when Season 2 Reloaded comes around, we will be getting Avalon as well as Blackout, so that actually should be pretty good. But those are just my thoughts on Black Ops 7 Season 2. Definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think about all the different content that's part of this roadmap. It's looking pretty massive, and honestly, I do think overall it is looking pretty good. But with that being said, thank you guys very much for watching. I really do hope you guys enjoyed watching me cover all the different content coming to Black Ops 7 Season 2. If you guys did, and you want to see some more stuff like this and also see all this content when it gets added to the game, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys later.
I don't need a dime, bitch, I'm still a